On our trip to Nashville, we had the most magical experience at the Nashville Zoo I have ever had in my entire life. I don't think they always have all these extra decorations up, but I felt so lucky that we caught it at the right time, not intentionally, to get to see all of these awesome decorations. This was not just a zoo, it was a celebration of culture, creativity, and life. I've never been to a zoo where it really felt like the animals weren't really in enclosures, that they were just living in their own space. The artwork and the architecture was a reflection of the different cultures from the different areas, and it was just so amazing.
You want to go see the next thing? You want to see the next thing? Okay.
This was one of those days when we realized our 2-year-old is really just talking so much and we're actually having conversations with him. Our youngest is still a little bit more easily overstimulated, so he stayed in the cart more, and then a couple different times I carried him around. We hadn't really planned on going to the zoo. It was kind of random. It was a weekday, school was in session, but that kind of worked out because Briggs was able to run around and have a little bit more freedom because it wasn't really busy. I really can't express enough how much this zoo was just a fully immersive experience, and it was so fun to get to experience. Literally everywhere you went was something magical to see, something that caught your eye, and I just haven't experienced anything this magical as an adult in a really long time. Thankfully, the boys loved it as much as me because if you can't tell, I was literally obsessed. Now, this was one of my absolute favorite displays. Orcas are one of my favorites. I usually like an aquarium more than a zoo, but Calvin is more drawn to the zoos than the aquarium. I have never, ever been to anything that had something like this. They had an area that you could walk through where the kangaroos were able to roam about freely. And so long as the kangaroo was okay with you touching them, then you could touch the kangaroo. Oh, it's jumping! Did you see it jumping? He really enjoyed the kangaroos, loved watching them jump and play. He was not fully convinced about actually petting them though. It took a little while for me to convince him to pet one. And when he did, he was only interested in touching it for just a little bit. He did really like their tails though. I'm not sure why he wanted to play with their tails so much, but they don't really like for you to mess with them. So we just kind of left the tails alone and I just redirected him. Even though he wasn't super interested in petting them, this was an area that he didn't really want to leave, so he really did enjoy this spot. We had actually shown up late. I think we only had like 2 hours to see all this, so we didn't even get to see the full zoo, which is just insane to me because we've seen so much. Now, everything inside the zoo, there is an additional cost. I don't remember how much it was because our friends actually paid for it, but the boys got to ride a train and they did like that. Regan didn't necessarily care, but Briggs does like anything to do with monster trucks, cars, and trains. I really like architecture. I don't know anything about architecture, but I just think it's so beautiful. And there was so much in this zoo that was just breathtaking.
All right, you ready to go? See the next.
What'd you think?
I don't think. What's that?
If you know Briggs, you know one of his favorite things in the world is a cat of any kind. So he loved it. He wanted to go outside. He kept asking to go outside to see the tiger, which is a little alarming, but it was adorable. It's really cool getting to see your husband, who you've known as like a young man, and then as your husband, and then getting to watch him be a dad. My husband has just been a phenomenal dad, and it's really cute to get to see him interact and show the boys the world, especially in like settings like these because my husband loves the zoo. These guinea pigs were living a wonderful life. I loved the way that their little homes were almost like a village. I thought that was super cute. Literally everything about this zoo was just next level. So beautiful, so amazing. This entire trip just felt like a beautiful, wonderful, magical celebration. Hands down the best trip to the zoo I've ever had, and I really hope that one day we go back and see the full thing.